In this podcast episode, Tucker Carlson welcomes Nicole Shanahan and Jesse Kelly to discuss the themes of community, division, and the current political climate in America. Shanahan shares her transformative journey and concerns about transhumanism, while Kelly critiques the political establishment and gun control measures, emphasizing the need for grassroots involvement and unity among citizens. Together, they explore the challenges facing the nation and the potential for reclaiming American values. Carlson shares his thoughts on the current political climate, suggesting that many people feel alienated by prevailing narratives. He argues that media and political elites have created a distorted view of reality, leading to a sense of isolation among those who disagree with mainstream views. He emphasizes the importance of self-reflection and understanding one's beliefs in the face of criticism. He touches on the concept of extremism, asserting that he is not an extremist, but rather someone who values stability and tradition. As Carlson transitions to introducing Nicole Shanahan, he highlights her journey of transformation and her newfound perspective on politics and society. Shanahan, who has a background in Silicon Valley and was previously aligned with liberal ideologies, shares her experience of reevaluating her beliefs. She discusses her desire to become a mother and the challenges she faced in that pursuit, particularly regarding the medical and corporate narratives surrounding women's health. This journey led her to question prevailing scientific and medical practices, particularly in the context of transhumanism. Shanahan explains that transhumanism is a movement that seeks to enhance human capabilities through technology, often at the expense of traditional human functions. She expresses concern about the implications of this ideology, particularly regarding women's health and reproductive rights. Her experiences during the COVID-19 pandemic further solidified her skepticism towards the mainstream scientific narrative, prompting her to seek alternative perspectives. During her conversation with Carlson, Shanahan reflects on her shift away from the Democratic Party and her alignment with Bobby Kennedy's independent campaign. She emphasizes the importance of unity and understanding among people, regardless of their political affiliations. She believes that many individuals within the Democratic base are unaware of the manipulative tactics employed by party elites to maintain control and division. Shanahan's personal journey of grief and self-discovery plays a significant role in her transformation. She describes how her experiences of loneliness and despair led her to seek deeper truths about life, death, and the nature of good and evil. This introspection ultimately brought her closer to a belief in God and a desire to advocate for a more compassionate and unified society. In the latter part of the discussion, Shanahan articulates her views on the fear of death that drives many individuals towards transhumanism and other ideologies that seek to escape the natural human experience. She argues that this fear often leads to a denial of fundamental truths about existence and morality. Her insights resonate with Carlson, who agrees that the current political and social climate reflects a broader struggle between good and evil. Carlson goes on to introduce Jesse Kelly, who discusses the current state of the presidential race, the perceived threats to American values, and the implications of gun control measures. Kelly asserts that the political landscape is heavily influenced by a corrupt system he refers to as the regime. He argues that this system has been infiltrated by what he calls communist filth, which has poisoned American institutions over decades. He believes that the attempts on Donald Trump's life are indicative of his perceived threat to this corrupt establishment, suggesting that if Trump were losing, such drastic measures would not be necessary. He emphasizes that the institutions of media, education, and government have been compromised, leading to a criminal enterprise running the country. Kelly expresses a sense of hope, arguing that the fear exhibited by the regime indicates that they know they are losing control and that the majority of Americans do not support their agenda. The conversation shifts to gun control, with Kelly criticizing Kamala Harris for her stance on firearms. He references a past statement by Harris where she suggests that just because someone owns a gun legally, it doesn't mean the government can't check on its use. Kelly interprets this as a violation of the Second Amendment and a sign of tyranny. He argues that the push for gun control is not about preventing violence, but about disarming the population to maintain control. He draws parallels to historical instances where governments disarmed citizens before committing atrocities, asserting that the current administration's actions reflect a desire to suppress the American populace. Kelly believes that the government views law-abiding citizens as the enemy, prioritizing control over public safety. The discussion then turns to Texas and its political climate. Kelly expresses concern that the state, traditionally a Republican stronghold, could be at risk of falling under Democratic control. He criticizes the Republican Party for failing to stand up for conservative values and for allowing ineffective leaders to represent them. Kelly argues that complacency among voters in safe states like Texas has led to a lack of accountability for elected officials. He emphasizes the need for grassroots involvement in local politics and primary elections to ensure that true representatives of the people are elected. He warns that the complacency of Texans could lead to a loss of the values and community spirit that define the state. In the final segment, Kelly expresses a sense of optimism despite the challenges facing the country. He believes that the American people have the power to reclaim their values and institutions. He argues that the regime is more afraid of the populace than the other way around, suggesting that the darkness fears the light. He encourages listeners to stop being afraid and to take action against the corrupt system. Kelly asserts that the desire for a country rooted in family, community, and decency is stronger than the forces trying to undermine it. He concludes that if people stand up and unite, they can overcome the current challenges and restore the nation to its foundational values.